So hello, good to see you again here. This is a next video. I'm just trying to make it pretty here. So that's Anya Lyon again, and working together with Mr. Lukman Behaki. And here we have yet again a little fable, short, sweet, and helps us to understand how texts are structured without having to go through 200 pages of complicated texts. So I have here the summary of our last video. So this is for you to sort of browse through it. WG, word groups. Remember? Word groups that help to communicate emotions, right? So you know all of that. What else? Well, did you ever wonder how does a text actually create a sequence? So let's have a look whether we could create a little heading here and sequencing texts. Now we all do it, right? So first I woke up, then I went to the kitchen, then I made myself a drink, then I had some breakfast. That's a sequence, right? But that was a boring story which I just told you about my morning. So texts create sequence, and they do it in such a way for you to actually get involved, get interested in the text. So somehow that idea of contrast, right, has to come through, right? So the sequence has to communicate that contrast, because a text is an explanation of how to deal with contrast, right? So we write text in order to show how we overcome or how we deal with contrast. Otherwise, there's nothing to say. Nobody writes a text. I woke up, I went to the kitchen, I had a coffee, I did this, I did that. Nobody will read it. It's not gonna make money. So anyway, so how do texts communicate contrast? They have to set it up, right? So how did we set it up in here? Maybe you can have a little discussion with Mr. Lukman now and then come back to this video. So what we want to do, and maybe you could structure your discussion with Mr. Lukman on that topic, but what we want to do actually, can you look at the text of the fable and tell each other, right? Tell each other, we make the font smaller, how the fable created its sequence around the summer winter contrast, right? How did it do it? So summer, which is carefree, or what was it? Planning, right? Planning, sacrificing. So the question is, how did the fable create its sequence to communicate that summer-winter contrast? How did the fable create its sequence? So what was it? First, field, then grasshopper chirping, right? So that was what? That was carefree, right? So if you can actually go through the story and identify stages of the sequence. This happened first, this happened next, and maybe you can name them as well and discuss them with Mr. Lukman. That would be great. I will also tell you how I think this sequence was developed in the fable, but I would prefer that you first discuss it with Mr. Lukman before you actually look into my own solution. Okay? Have fun.